California is leading the way in efforts to legalize marijuana. It would be decriminalized and turned into a money-making proposition for the cash-strapped state.
Prohibition, as it exists now, is chaos, and regulation is control.
Should the state turn cannabis into cash? The issue of money for drugs. Straight ahead on Equal Time.
From San Jose State University and KTEH, you're watching Equal Time, exploring new issues each week, giving equal time to competing points of view.
Hello and welcome to San Jose State University and this week's edition of Equal Time. I'm journalism professor Bob Rucker. Some people call marijuana a wonder drug. It can ease symptoms of anything from migraines to chemotherapy. And now, many Californians, including lawmakers, are claiming the drug can help cure the state's budget crisis. We'll hear from both sides, and first, some people in favor of legalizing and taxing marijuana. Here's journalism professor Diane Guerrazzi.
Hidden in the hills of Mount Hamilton, just east of San Jose, lies a lucrative marijuana crop. On this day, federal, state, and local agents with the Campaign Against Marijuana Planting, or CAMP, search for spots of fluorescent green. That's where the pot and the danger lie.
It's very dangerous. We've had in Santa Clara County in recent years, we've had two officer-involved shootings involving marijuana gardens.
As officers pluck 1,000 plants from the hillside, they keep looking for growers with guns.
They have to worry about some type of booby traps on the ground. They have to worry about armed suspects in there. They set up observation points, the suspects do.
Just one mature marijuana plant brings in about $3,500. With money like that, Assemblyman Tom Amiano says the state should cash in.
Prohibition, as it exists now, is chaos, and regulation is control.
Amiano supports Proposition 19 on Tuesday's ballot that would partially legalize marijuana for people 21 and older.
And particularly with it going on under our nose as we speak. And we're just losing that battle, and we're hemorrhaging money, and we're not being effective on drug prevention. It's all Band-Aids. And so I'm looking for more than that, and I think it's a good public policy issue.
Supporters claim Prop 19 would net California $1.4 billion a year in tax revenues.
And we could take some of this money and put it towards really good drug prevention and talk about addiction, and not hang up the law enforcement with minor crimes and not overcrowd our already bursting at the seams prisons.
If it passes, Californians can cultivate marijuana in a 25 square foot space and possess or transport up to an ounce of it.
Cannabis is safer than alcohol. It doesn't cause the overdose deaths or violence or domestic abuse that alcohol does. So it should be legal. People should have a choice to use a safer substance.
Richard Lee is the driving force behind Prop 19.
Grow and sell and distribute cannabis.
Lee owns Oaksterdam University, the first cannabis college in the country. It's in Oakland, where voters in 2009 became the first in the country to tax medical marijuana. Lee has a vision for the downtown area surrounding Oaksterdam.
We'd like to make it like Amsterdam. When you go to Amsterdam, you have your choice of hundreds of cannabis coffee shops, and they provide lots of jobs and increased tourism and tax revenue for the city.
An approval is less formal than a recommendation.
Each month, 500 Oaksterdam students learn how to grow, buy, and sell medical marijuana, which has been legal in California since 1996, but not available everywhere.
Nothing better than coming home and just, enjoying a nice joint, or, taking a couple hits, at the end of the day of a long day's work, because, I work, full time, and things can be stressful at work. You just want to go home and relax.
During lunch in the student union, some take a toke or two, then it's back to the books.
Teaching people to buy and grow and distribute cannabis safely and responsibly, because that's a big part of changing the laws, is showing people that it can be done in a safe and responsible way.
Cities and counties would be allowed to set their own regulations, but the U.S. Attorney General says the federal government will enforce its marijuana laws, even if Prop 19 passes, and it is leading in 3 out of 4 public opinion surveys.
I think that more and more people are understanding that our current marijuana laws don't make any sense, that most of the mythology we've been fed is not true.
Bruce Merkin is spokesman for the Marijuana Policy Project, a nonprofit lobbying organization.
Due to California's budget crisis.
The group produced this 30-second television ad featuring state worker Nadine Herndon of Fair Oaks, near Sacramento.
We're marijuana consumers. Instead of being treated like criminals for using a substance safer than alcohol, we want to pay our fair share.
But the ad was a hard sell for broadcast stations. Half that were approached refused to run it.
It's a very straightforward ad. It doesn't promote anything except discussion and questioning of whether our current laws make any sense.
Marijuana has been outlawed since 1937, long before most current users were born.
There are millions of marijuana consumers in California. That's reality. It's not going away. We need to deal with it.
When we come back, we'll get the other side of equal time. How would you like to live next door to a pothouse?
It's quite dangerous for us and for the kids.
Some of the people who object to marijuana legalization or taxation may surprise you. Equal Time returns in 30 seconds. Welcome back. There's no doubt that California's economy is in crisis, and many people say legalizing and taxing marijuana makes sense. But others argue that money should not be the motivation for making wholesale changes to criminal and social policies. And some people who have reservations about legislation and legalization are those who use the drug. Here again is Diane Garazi.
These workers at the offices of the Green Cross in San Francisco are sorting and weighing marijuana, preparing it for use by people who have a doctor's recommendation. It's one of 400 medical marijuana dispensaries in California. The Green Cross offers more than 50 strains of cannabis. That's the preferred name here. It also offers medical edibles, including the perennial favorite, brownies.
They go in for 30 minutes.
The business is owned by Kevin Reed and operates out of his small apartment.
It seems to me to be doing well. I mean, the city has regulated medical cannabis in San Francisco. They've regulated the dispensaries in San Francisco.
Reed inhales his marijuana in what he says is the healthiest way, through this vaporizer. He says the drug eases his pain from back surgeries, and he says efforts to legalize marijuana frighten him.
Legal for everyone, absolutely not.
But Reed favors decriminalization. Beginning January 1st, the penalty for possession of an ounce or less of marijuana will become only an infraction, reduced from the current misdemeanor.
If you decriminalize that and make it a ticket, then people would think twice about smoking it on the streets. People would still have consideration.
Reed says he's afraid that if marijuana were legalized, observers may not like the results. That would extinguish the progress he's made in getting medical marijuana accepted. He also opposes the idea of taxing it and says it won't bring as much money into the state as supporters predict.
I don't believe that when you tell people that they can legally grow it themselves, that they're going to go to the store and buy it.
Reed's clients don't have to go to the store or even to the dispensary.
Hey Juan, come on in.
The Green Cross delivers the goods to them. David Goldman says he uses marijuana to ease chronic headaches. He takes it in a variety of ways.
And the lozenges, these are oral lozenges.
Goldman says he favors legalization for adults.
But I have issues about it being taxed as a medicine. Right now, any prescription in California that's given to a patient, a normal prescription, there's no sales tax on it.
Across town in the Sunset District, there's a growing problem. 30 houses used to grow marijuana in this middle-class neighborhood have been raided in 6 months, including the one next door to Bernadette Ballinget.
There are times when I come home from work, there's a skunky smells, and it comes and goes.
That skunky smell was from hundreds of marijuana plants in the house next door. Ballinget was worried for her family.
When, let's say, you're having a marijuana session, it somehow have an effect on the nervous system. So that's what I mean of being dangerous to the kids.
Growing operations are a fire hazard. San Francisco fire officials are warning that electricity growers pirate into the house can cause fires. And Ron Brooks, president of the National Narcotics Officers Association Coalition, says the danger goes far beyond fire.
How do you regulate, whether somebody's going to smoke marijuana and then drive the bus you're in, or drive the big rig that's on the highway next to you, or fly the airplane, or be the EMT that comes to work on you or your one of your loved ones when you're sick?
The association represents more than 70,000 narcotics officers. We posed Brooks some points that legalization advocates have raised. What about the notion that marijuana is harmless?
People that are 50 and 60 and I used marijuana, it didn't affect me. Well, that marijuana was 1 to 3% THC, the active ingredient, the intoxicating ingredient in marijuana. But marijuana nationally now is 10% THC.
Won't legalization help ease California's overcrowded prisons?
It wouldn't have any impact on the prison population. There's only 16%, according to the National Institute of Justice. Only 16% of the prison population has anything to do with the drug offense.
But won't it put Mexican drug cartels out of business? Cartels believed to run operations such as this one on Mount Hamilton, where we started out.
They're going to find a way to make money no matter what, and only a small percentage of the profit that Mexican drug trafficking cartels and the others involved in the trade, drug trafficking organizations, only a small percentage of that is gleaned from marijuana coming from Mexico.
And finally, on the mountain, we asked Lieutenant Don Morrissey of the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office running the raid, doesn't he think legalization for taxation will work?
Well, if that was to happen, you'd probably be able to buy it from an illegal source, a dealer, for a little bit cheaper than you would for having to pay with the taxation on it.
Is the road to California's riches paved with potholes? When we come back, we'll sit down with experts in search of solutions.